Out of all of the heroes in DC's Absolute Universe, Wonder Woman stands out as a genuine beacon of virtue. Where Batman and Superman are a bit weary and at times cynical, Diana always chooses hope. Which may be surprising given her upbringing. As an infant, she was taken from her family by the gods and cast into hell. There she was raised by the witch Circe, and frankly, she has every reason to be bitter. Instead, her warmth brings light to the lives of all those who know her. She's an inspiration to the people of the world, and she's trying to bring balance back to this dark universe. That makes her the primary target for Veronica Cale, director of the government's Black Ops Area 41. When Cale captured Diana alongside her friend Barbara Minerva, rescue came from an unexpected place. The goddess Persephone convinced Hades to invoke their pact, requiring Diana to spend 30 days a year in the Underworld. It was the only way to snatch her from Cale's experiments, but it left her trapped in exile while Barbara remained a prisoner. While they had intended to help Diana, really, they had damned her. She doesn't care what her enemies do to her, but she cannot stand the suffering of others, especially her friends. With no way out, Diana returned to her childhood home only to find it burned to ash, Circe missing and her animal friends killed. Donning her armor and wielding a massive battle axe, Diana searched for answers and subdued a hostile manticore along the way. That night, her patron goddess Hecate appeared, revealing that she orchestrated Circe's abduction and Diana's exile to force her into a divine chess game. In response, Diana issued a firm warning. If her mother or Barbara die for these games, Hecate will never be forgiven. Meanwhile, inside Area 41, Barbara Minerva sat locked in a cell with the undecomposing corpse of the previous cheater, who had been killed while trying to capture Diana. The ancient god Hecate, Cheetah's patron, offered Barbara a deal to become his new partner. Knowing divine bargains are traps, Barbara hesitated, but really, what other option does she have? She's left trapped between a dangerous god and a reckless bureaucrat, with her only hope being Diana's return. But can she hold out for an entire month? Well, it turns out the answer is no, she cannot. Barbara lasts a few days before she begins to entertain Hecata's offer. As a scholar of the classical world, she is very aware that gods can be deceptive, and any bargain they make will have considerable downsides. Just look at the previous cheater for an example of that. Barbara doesn't trust Hecate, saying that in her position she has no way of verifying anything he tells her. So Hecate offers to discuss topics that she knows well, and that way she'll be able to tell if he's lying. He tells Barbara that being deceptive can lead to matching with an unsuitable partner, like the previous cheater. He knows that Barbara is exceptional, but she has always shied away from the spotlight. If they form a partnership, she'll no longer be defined by her connections to other people. She'll become a demigod in her own right, which is exactly what she deserves. And she can still be friends with Wonder Woman if she wants, nothing would stop that, but she'd no longer be a follower. She would be a peer. Ultimately, he frames it as the chance to live up to her full potential and achieve her dreams. Alternatively, she could sit around and wait to be rescued by Wonder Woman. And with that, Barbara accepts the proposal. Now, we aren't shown her new form yet, but we do get a glimpse of the change she goes through. Her teeth sharpen and she grows claws, but we are shown the aftermath of her transformation where she tears through the door of her cell. It's interesting to note that the previous cheater wasn't powerful enough to escape Cale, but here Barbara got away within minutes, and she has taken her predecessor's body with her. Cale assembles a squad of soldiers and sends them after her, but she's pretty confident they won't be able to catch her. Meanwhile, in the Underworld, Diana has seen Circe chained up to the cliffs, prisoner of the Scylla. The Scylla is a sea monster that is made up of a giant woman, squid tentacles, and wolves, which is an interesting combination. Diana casts a spell on herself, binding her fate to Circe's. Whatever happens to one will happen to the other, and this will be important later on. Usually, Diana would try to talk down her foes and use violence only as a last resort, but here she's quick to slice at the Scylla's tentacles. She did offer mercy in exchange for Circe's freedom, but once Scylla made an aggressive move, the discussion was off the table. Armed with her colossal Athena blade, Diana can hold her own against the legendary monster, but that doesn't mean that she won't bring in help. You'll recall in the last issue how she put the Manticore to sleep with a spell. Well, she had planted a suggestion that when he wakes up, he would be very angry with the Scylla and want to attack her. Not that he does much, really he's a distraction and an annoyance, while Diana prepares another spell. The Scylla knocks the Manticore off of the cliff's edge, presumably into the water. Diana's plan is to keep the Scylla angry, so she strikes it with lightning. While the Scylla was focused on the Manticore and Diana, she didn't notice that Circe had managed to free herself and had now joined the fight. So while Diana thwacks the Scylla, Circe creates a magical shield to protect them. This gives the two a moment to catch their breath and check in. Circe knows what Diana has planned, and she does not approve, but when has that ever stopped Diana from doing anything? Once the Scylla breaks through the shield, they resume their fight. While Circe is a powerful witch, she's not much of a brawler and is viewed as an easy target. Diana cautions the Scylla though. Hecate may have allowed her to capture Circe to keep Diana distracted, but killing Diana is out of the question. Remember that binding spell that Diana cast earlier? What that means is if the Scylla kills Circe, she will also kill Diana. Checkmate. But Diana's words fall on deaf ears as the Scylla tries her luck. Fortunately, Hecate steps in, saying enough is enough. And Scylla is unhappy about this. Hecate had given her permission to take Circe and do as she pleases. But Hecate, in true Greek deity fashion, clarifies that while she gave her permission to kidnap Circe, she never said she could kill her or that she could keep her. It would be very unwise to anger the god of death, magic, and crossroads. And so the Scylla backs off with her multiple tails between her legs. Diana demands that Hecate takes them back to their home on the Wild Isles. Bold, considering her status, but Hecate silently complies. And within a few seconds they are home, or at least what remains of it. Diana heads inside, completely disinterested in anything Hecate has to say, and Hecate warns Circe to bring Diana in line, to keep their mission in mind, and to always remember what it will cost them to succeed. If she can't do that, then clearly Hecate chose poorly when she picked Circe to be Diana's mother. So at the end of the day, it is a victory. Diana has saved her mother, but all she can think about is that cost. She points out that it is in her nature to befriend people, animals, and creatures of all sizes. Those animals of the Wild Isles were some of her oldest friends, but being close to her earned them death. Is this the fate of all those she cares about? To be captured, tortured, and murdered, all to get at her? Diana may have a very high tolerance for pain, but she cannot abide the suffering of others, especially those she cares about. She weeps, saying that the burden of her mission is too heavy to carry alone, but she also can't stand the fact that being associated with her immediately puts her friends in danger. How can she proceed if she's always worried what will happen to her mother or her friends? Diana's despair is only exceeded by her anger, which is an area her mother excels in. The pair decide that what they need is a new set of weapons. So this is another area in which Diana stands out. When Absolute Batman's friends were harmed to get at him, he closed himself off and became more brutal. He argued that in order to fight monsters, you must become a monster. But Diana's response is very different. She has exactly the same emotional reaction, but instead of shutting herself away and becoming more brutal, she decided that she needs to get better tools. Diana still has a few weeks left in the Underworld before she'll be able to return to the surface, but you can bet your life on the fact that when she returns, she'll be fully prepared for whatever Cale has in store for her. Absolute Wonder Woman 22 is available now from all good comic shops. Special thanks to my channel members, the Back Issue Brigade, who helped to make these videos possible. If you'd like to see your name on screen and get access to some exclusive videos, then join the channel now. Now, next week is the 5th week of the month when DC traditionally doesn't publish their regular series, so I'll be taking the time to drop a Back Issue Brigade exclusive video about the phenomenal series Gotham Central. Regular videos will resume in 2 weeks' time with Absolute Superman 22, Absolute Green Lantern 17, and Batman 12. Hope to see you then.